Senate and the governor.
Now, as a member of the Appropriations Committee,
Yes.
you chair some subcommittees and serve on some subcommittees on some other specific budgets. Give us a little breakdown on how those have progressed, particularly on health matters.
Sure. Well, that's where I serve in particular as chair, anyway, in the Department of Community Health. That largely is Medicaid. And this year, as part of finding a way to work through the revenue problems in the state of Michigan, we did have some substantial reductions. But it wasn't all reductions. There were a couple of bright spots where we were able to find some local programs that would be helpful, and some programs across the state. Home health workers, for example, which have been dramatically underpaid. We found a little money to help them. We found some money for things like educating kids that are in school to have a school-based health program, a clinic within the schools. That makes a difference in your being able to educate kids because they're not out for truancy for health reasons. We found as well money for pilot studies that would be useful to reduce traumatic brain injuries. And that's very cost effective. Not only does it save a life or a quality of a life, but it reduces the amount of money you're going to have to spend to institutionalize somebody who's damaged later. I only mentioned those last programs because the governor chose to line item veto many of them, chose to also line item veto birth to 3 money, which...
Now that has a dramatic impact. Is it, what, $1.6 million for your area?
Yeah, it does, but it is more than that. In terms of the cost effectiveness of dollars that we can spend, the Tecumseh study showed that you get about a 17-to-1 expansion of value for money that's spent on kids 0 to 5. And if there's an area where actually we should be spending more money rather than less money, it's in early childhood, getting kids school ready, dealing with abuse and neglect issues, helping parents become better parents, finding books and preschool opportunities for kids. And I really regret that that area in the budget was subsequently line item vetoed.
And how does that directly affect your district?
Well, we have in Saginaw and Gratiot counties, we have a pretty strong birth to 5 program going back to, they were called ASAP PI grants that came through the K-12 education system. Now those are threatened. Teen Parent is threatened, the CAN Council is threatened. All those that were involved in these sort of parenting and early childhood issues are scrambling now to find alternative funding or making decisions on who they're going to have to cut. Look, I was just in a meeting 2 days ago dealing with folks from the child and abuse community and the county prosecutor on how they're going to be able to deal with kids and making sure that they in fact are in school rather than truant. Those sort of things, when they start with just in kindergarten or first degree, they have a tremendous snowball effect, and they cost lives and lead to failing students and failing schools subsequently. So the bang for the buck is in early childhood education. It's a mistake to cut that.
And the great irony is, for the small amount of savings that you maybe get now, it really results in much higher expenditures for years to come.
Well, if the kid doesn't learn to read well by the time he's 8, that is the single most important factor in whether or not they're going to drop out of school or they're going to have a problem with the juvenile justice system or end up in a prison. It costs $35,000 a year to house somebody in a prison, and then when they get out, what kind of opportunity do they have? Are they going to recidivize? All those things go into why it's important to do something for kids at birth, even before birth. Look, a kid's brain you would think it to be fully formed, but it isn't. The brain is still developing through the first couple years of our life. So if the prenatal care is weak, the birth to 3 care is weak, and the kid is behind the 8 ball thereafter, either in catching up or attaining the value out of his school experience that he needs to be successful later in life and become a parent himself or herself.
Right. Another veto that was very difficult to comprehend why the governor would do this, you had a very cost-effective plan through a prescription website. Yeah. Give the viewers a little background on what that would have done. It's a proven technique that is really pro-consumer.
Yeah. Well, we've been working on this particular program, the prescription drug website, for several years, really. And what it does is it allows an individual to compare the cost of a drug that he buys in real time at real drugstores competitively. That means that drugstore X charges $10 for a drug and drugstore Y charges $100 for the drug. Most people don't have a readily available way to know whether they're getting the best bang for their buck. And this would allow online real price comparison so that you'd have an opportunity to shop wisely. A real example of this is one drugstore in Saginaw County. A drug by the name of Nasonex cost $27, and in another drugstore in another part of the county it cost $127. That sort of difference, we want to make that available, not just so that there can be efficient shopping by the individual, but also if that data is available, I think it has a chilling effect on wide variances in price. And it gives us a way to spend our personal dollars well, it gives us a way to spend our Medicaid, which is our tax dollars, well, and I regret that got vetoed too. It was only $250,000 to make that available across the entire state, a website for all of our people, and that was at the most it would have been that. Probably it would have been considerably less.
And considering the state of Michigan's economy, what better time to have something that's so helpful to consumers who need to stretch every dollar that they could possibly have and use it so wisely, and then now this information isn't going to be as readily available to them as it might have been.
Yeah, well, we'll fight that battle again. One of the rules in politics is when it's over, it's not over. We've been working on that. I've been working on that particular bill, trying to get it through and signed and done. Now for 3 years. I thought I finally had it done this year. I have to go back and do it again. It's a worthy fight. It saves money. It dampens wild gyrations in prices. It empowers our people.
Well, another battle that's just beginning deals with the Secretary of State, who has made a recent decision that very much impacts a lot of people in your district.
Yeah, it does.
For our viewers, give us a little background on what's happening with one of the Secretary of State branch offices.
Well, the Secretary of State has decided that she needs to close some of the branches across the state, and I can understand that in difficult economic times, and she's chosen the Frankenmuth Secretary of State office to be one of those. That I don't understand as well, and the reason why is that if we're going to have efficiencies and savings, we ought to look at places where there's failures and find those as the places where we're going to eliminate the failures and go with places that have been successful. Across the state of Michigan, since 2002,